You're listening to Band Practice with Matthew and Kreps. Rock out with your cock out.
Hello, people.
So that was my brother exhaling onto the microphone.
Who we've been trying to get in here for weeks, no, months now.
Months, yeah. So my brother showed up.
He's so fucking elusive, he might just disappear out of nowhere right now. I'm honestly kind of worried. We have the door locked, and I still don't think we can keep him.
He's vaping and not saying anything.
He's sucking that black mechanical dick.
You gonna say hi, Tim?
Hi, Tim.
Did you expect anything else?
No, not at all. So I'm glad he came out. Yeah, before we started recording, we jammed out a little bit.
That's on our Instagram and Facebook page.
Social media. So Tim, I want to ask you a question.
That music was for you. That was a private performance. How dare you breach my privacy in this
You
way?
probably should have mentioned that. You signed the NDA. I'm sorry. I signed the NDA for you.
Well, that's binding. Fuck.
I got a question for you, Tim. Have you ever been to Schnebley's Winery?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
What'd you think of the place?
That was nice.
When'd you go there?
About a year ago.
Not
Yeah.
enough.
Not enough. We should go back. They have they have a whole brewing section in the back with beer and shit now.
Yeah.
And they got asshole and pool tables and shit. They got a $15
Well, I
prime
saw
rib
that
night
they
on
had
Friday
like
nights.
some yard
They have
games and stuff.
beer
They
there.
did not have pool tables when I went.
Yeah.
They have beer, like, and a legit giant fucking like
And
bar.
lychee wine.
Yes, the
And-
lychee wine is their most sought after wine.
Yes.
And it's out of season right now, so it's expensive as fuck.
It's like 33
Yeah, I
bucks.
had some of the lychee wine when I was there. It was
That shit's fire.
Yeah, it was good.
We always plug Schnebley's.
Out of the hope that they will one day pay you back in some manner.
Actually, we have several different things that we're aiming for. Either they,
You're going the Colbert route, like, oh, please, so-and-so. Thank you, Doritos.
that's what got him his first iPhone, the first iPhone.
So we're kind of just doing it because, well, like Kreps said, we have a couple goals in mind.
First off, it's if you build it, they might come.
Yeah, maybe they will sponsor us. Whatever,
Yeah.
that's cool.
And if they don't, that's fine.
Maybe we'll just get a bottle of wine. I'm cool with that. Or maybe we'll get a cease and desist letter.
And we will read that shit on
That
there.
seems unlikely.
All three of those scenarios is win-win.
I mean, honestly,
But-
either way, they're getting free advertising out of it, so I'm sure they're happy.
But the best and the most sought after and hoped for scenario is because get them on the podcast.
Yes.
We have spoken to, I don't remember her name.
The owner's daughter.
Yeah, super sweet.
Yeah, she was really nice. I don't think she was
And very
prepared for us.
busineslik, which
That's most people, man.
and very businesslike, which kind of makes sense why she wouldn't talk to us again because this is not a business. What we do, this is not. This nothing about this is businesslike. I've been half naked
don't
half the
sell
time.
yourself short, okay? If you don't believe in yourself, nobody will.
Believe in the ball. Throw yourself.
So, what projects you been doing lately? You were in a band, but now you're not.
Accurate.
You're still throwing shows, though?
Not at the moment. I don't have any lined up. I was taking a break for a moment, building some money so I can throw some shows more effectively.
You want to start a band with me?
I mean,
I
this
love how
is a
you
very,
ask everybody on the podcast.
This is a very public proposition. These things should be done in private.
Okay, so me and a couple guys on the podcast are getting together. We're starting a Tenacious D tribute band.
Okay, I'm in.
All right. Kreps hates Tenacious D.
Because
and I don't understand why.
every fucking.
Okay, now I'm in
Yes,
harder.
you do. Yes, you do. You know why I've explained this to you, but you have to have every guest give me shit about it.
I'm just saying because they're obviously the greatest band in the world.
No, they're a tribute.
No, that's the song.
No. Yeah, the song was a tribute.
Exactly.
They're
They're the greatest
They're
song.
not a band.
To the
Really?
greatest song.
They're
Really?
the greatest band. They didn't necessarily make the greatest song. They're just
The
giving
greatest
a tribute.
band. Yeah.
I'm not going into this because we've already been over this several fucking times. I had fucking Aldrin give me this shit off air.
I mean, if you
When
don't
he
want
came
to
on.
lose again, okay, we can move on.
No, how about you go back and listen to the original thing that's had?
I mean, that sounds like a waste of time.
I want to argue, but we have so little time with you. I don't want to waste it.
So we just had Michael LaMoglia on recently.
Today.
Yeah. He is a Star Trek aficionado.
Okay.
He brought us these really cool coasters that light up when you put your beer on them, and they're transporter pads. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
How cool is that, right?
I'm totally using that now.
Yeah, right? How sweet is that thing?
Man, I love when guests bring us shit. Take note, guests.
Fuck you too. Calling me out.
I wasn't.
Because I didn't bring a gift.
I don't think he was talking to you. I think he was just talking about anybody that...
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking around you.
No, you were talking to the microphone because you're
And half
experienced
about you.
professional.
Jesse fucking brought us a bottle of vodka, which we killed, like, I think last month.
So we have a Deadpool costume now.
No. We have Dale Earnhardt Deadpool.
Yes, we put it on the Dale Earnhardt cutout. So now we have Dale Earnhardt
Deadpool.
It's stapled to the cutout.
Don't ruin the magic for people.
That adds to the magic.
I feel like it was the most efficient way to do that.
No, the effect is very, very believable.
I will sit down with scissors and I'll make it more form fitting. But for right now, it's good. He has the best abs he's ever had. Definitely better abs than he has now because he's fucking dead. Too soon?
No.
Okay,
No.
checking.
So Tim, what have you been up to?
Mostly working.
Oh, that's boring.
It is. I got a new contact staff for Christmas. That was fun.
Oh, you do. Oh, that's right. Tell everyone about your poi, or what poi is, because I don't think anybody fucking knows.
Timmerson Boy Twizzle.
Well, I have a bunch of hobbies that have a number of different names you could call them. Spinning is a common term. Flow arts, circus arts. I play with toys, basically, is what it comes down to. Object manipulation is the fanciest sounding one. I am an object manipulator. I play with toys.
And I know a lot of people that have done that. I don't know if you, I doubt you've ever been, but there was a place in Orlando called Red Lion, and they had a thing called Twisted Tuesday, where they would do that. They would spin fire, mostly in the parking lot. There was also contact juggling. Mm-hmm. Do you know what that is?
I do.
It's really fucking cool. And the guy who did it was amazing. He would literally, he would move all around the ball, but the ball itself would never move.
Those are referred to as isolations. I got my ball in my bag out there. I'll show it to you after the cast.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do it.
Because this dude was super insecure, but he was amazing.
Have you ever?
But here's the thing about all the contact juggling and whatever spinning people. None of them have jobs. You have a job. How did that happen?
I'm an adult.
Can I bring you back to talk to some of them because they still don't have jobs?
I mean, that's not me.
Shut up.
I don't speak for all people within that category.
No, but I'm saying it's amazing. You can do the spinning and have a job. I think they're not aware this is an option.
Those two things are not mutually exclusive. Like you can.
Yeah,
Apparently.
it's a hobby. It's something you do in your
Shout out to
free
Red
time.
Lion.
Although I'm not
Well,
gonna
see, the
lie.
thing is, if you have infinite free time, it's easier to get good at a hobby.
Infinite.
Although I'm not gonna lie.
unemployment?
You could probably do that and make money on it. Like you're good enough.
Well, actually, strangely enough, it is hard to get professional gigs fire spinning if you're not brown. I am dead serious. That sounds a little crazy, but because
Hawaiian things.
fire
and-
spinning, poi specifically, is a Polynesian art form. So, like most of the corporate gigs that are high paying, they get teams of people to come in and spin fire for we're doing our Christmas party or whatever. They're all brown. Every single person on the team is going to be brown. That's what people want to see. They want to be entertained by people doing this that are supposedly in the culture. So it's a little harder to get professional gigs, at least in the formal poi route, if you're white.
So learn to swallow swords, figuratively and literally.
Is sword a metaphor for something here?
I'm saying figuratively and literally.
So real quick to touch back on the different kind of things I do. I started out spinning poi.
What is poi specifically? Because people are going to go, what the fuck is poi? They're not even going to spell that shit.
Poi.
I can spell it. I can't define it though.
Poi, P-O-I. It is a Polynesian art form. You got a weight on the end of a string, and you hold the string in your hand. You have one in each hand, so you have two weights on the end of strings, and you spin them around.
And what do you do with you just spin around weights? Or you dip them in kerosene, light them on fire, right?
Well, I'm just giving a general definition of poi. In the traditional sense, they had this poof ball thing on the end of a string, and the women did it for flexibility and different things like that, and the men did it for military training. Like they would actually do set patterns that they would run through, like forms in karate and that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, traditional poi is very interesting. It's colorful and bright. It's pretty. If you ever get the chance to look up Polynesian poi performance in the classical sense, they're very interesting.
And it's so much fun to watch while you're tripping. Holy shit.
Yeah. and they have large groups of people all doing it synced and then colorful patterns. It's cool.
I know you had a staff for Christmas too, right?
Yeah. So originally I started out spinning poi. LEDs is where I started, just glow poi, glow sticks, that kind of stuff. And then I saw someone spinning fire, and I was like, oh, music and rhythm and fire, like some of my favorite things in life, because I'm a massive pyromaniac. So I was like, I have to do that. So I immediately jumped into fire poi. Shortly thereafter at a festival, I learned how to contact juggle from a very nice gentleman that was at Fire Drums, a fire spinning festival specifically for fire spinners in California. I'm actually going to be going to another spinning event on the 20th of this month called Florida Flow Fest.
I've heard of this. Yeah.
They do workshops, so they bring in talented spinners to come teach about their prop that they play with. So I do poi. I picked up contact juggling after that. Then I picked up staff and double staff and contact staff. Contacts meaning that you roll it around and keep it in contact with your skin at all times. So it's all about balancing it across your body as you roll through patterns.
So which Power Ranger were you?
Green.
Great. Yeah.
Definitely green.
Good answer, but it doesn't actually fit with the whole poi thing.
I like how there was no delay in the response. Green, obviously. Duh. Nerd.
Are you fucking kidding me? Of course the Green Ranger.
Yeah.
He became the White Ranger. No, he's the Green fucking Ranger.
Yeah, no.
Tommy.
He's got his own dinosaur.
Yeah, well.
That's a given. I'm a member of the Channel 4 news team.
And that dude who played Tommy is fucking milking that shit. I follow him on Facebook. He's milking that shit for everything that he can get out of it. I don't blame him, but he also is looking kind of old now. What's funny about him is he was like the most badass person I knew when I was 12. Yeah. And then he's actually done some MMA, and he then like at least upgraded to also still being badass in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Can't remember his actual real fucking name though.
Are you just gonna try to like exhale as much as possible into the microphone?
Oh. Yes.
Okay. So, you went to Georgia Tech
Briefly.
And you did all kinds of stuff. Tell us what you've done.
Your mom.
That would be your mom.
Ah, damn. That does not work here. Fair enough.
I asked her. She said it was okay.
Jesus.
I've heard she's kind of nuts, and she said okay too. That's fucked up.
Our mother is she's a piece of work.
You guys, I had a feeling you guys were like dipped in crazy, but like out the get go because my birth mother's crazy, and I don't know. I don't know so much if I was born or just realized she was crazy, and I'm like, I gotta get out. I can't stay inside here.
Our mother definitely stalked both of us on social media for a while because we both stopped talking to her independently of each other. We stopped talking to her.
Yeah, at the time we weren't really talking much either.
Yeah, and we both stopped talking to her, and I know she was stalking us on social media
through family members' accounts too, and shit like that.
Yeah, like some secret squirrel shit, and. Yeah, I'm fairly certain she knows the podcast exists, and I don't know if she's listening, but it would be pretty funny if she was.
Shout out to
What
Debbie.
I will say is she loves us very much. She just is not very good at expressing that love in a healthy manner. That is the conclusion I have come to.
That is the most politically correct way you could say it.
I mean, she's our mom, man. She loves us.
Yeah, that's nice.
I mean, I don't talk to her.
Loves you. Quotes.
Again, she does. She really does, and she wanted what's best for us. It's just she couldn't respect us enough as people to explain what she wanted us to do and why, because she thought it was in our best interest. It was always a manipulation to get us to do what was in our best interest. It is a lack of respect for us as individuals.
Yeah.
Being loved by somebody who can't love you correctly is like somebody saying, hey, you're hungry? Well, I've given you 8 spoonfuls of mercury. Why aren't you full yet? I have so much mercury to give you. Aren't you full with mercury? That's not what I eat. That's not what I asked. Yeah.
Can you put it in my hat at least?
Yeah. Our mother is yeah. I don't know. You know what it is? Being older and looking back at everything. So I don't know, Tim, if you realize this. So when we were younger, I was the pretty one and he was the smart one. Seriously, that was how she saw it. And she she went with the stereotypes for those ideas.
Despite
So-
how you guys changed your look,
Yes.
that's
So
And despite the fact that I was obviously prettier. Have you seen his baby picture? He looked like Yoda.
yes, I did.
You do
But-
have a pretty sweet ginger beard, son. Just saying, Tim.
Yeah.
I know.
Anyway, so but I was not held to the same standard for school like my brother was because I was prettier, so I was assumed to be stupid. So I was not held to any kind of standard.
It doesn't help that you then joined the Marines.
You played into that.
No, I absolutely
You
did.
did
Because,
You joined the
you turned
Marines.
into the skid hard because you realized way too early that, like, oh, if I do poorly, I set the expectations here, then I don't have to work hard anymore. Like, it was a calculated move by you.
oh no, admittedly so. It
Like,
was.
because you're not fucking dumb, but you did terribly in school when you were living up there.
Oh, absolutely. I
And that
did.
was, like,
yeah.
intentional.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I caught that. I caught it. Yeah, very early on.
And maybe he's kind of pretty. How many people have begged you to put his face on to put your face on a shirt? I've made 8 shirts with his face on it.
I mean, there's no calling for taste here, so.
It's funny though because she used to do things to pit us against each other too when we were younger.
Oh, it's adorable.
She
I mean,
did.
I
She absolutely
specifically
did.
remember a scenario when we were living off of, what was it, Forest Drive or whatever?
Yeah.
We were standing in that front hallway, like by the stairs, and I don't know who she was talking to, one of the neighbors or something, and both of us were standing there, and she was just praising the fuck out of me. Just talking about how fucking amazing I am, and just like, and I remember thinking how weird this situation, like, because you're standing right there, I know you're going to kick the shit out of me in a little bit. I'm like, what are you doing?
Worst episode of Full House ever.
Well, it was really funny because so I was already out of the good graces at that point, and then even when I joined the Marines, I was still like, she talked shit about me because I didn't become a doctor. Like that was the thing, right?
What?
Yeah. That was her ultimate plan.
There's still time. No?
So my brother winds up going to Georgia Tech on a free ride, right?
No,
And-
no.
well-
I mean, a partial scholarship.
He got a scholarship, whatever. So
This
he's
is
the golden goose.
smartest school in Georgia, which is kind of like being the prettiest chick in the trailer park.
Whatever. He decided it
I
wasn't.
mean, that was a failed attempt at the smartest retard in special ed. What was it that they said in Waiting?
Yeah. He decided it wasn't for him. He moves on to something else. He's doing other shit. And that's when my mother wrote him off. And then all of a sudden, she put all her stock in me. And I could tell when it happened because all of a sudden she starts calling me every fucking day. And wanted to see how I'm doing. And then to the point where her friends are calling me going, oh, your mom was just telling me about you. Da-da-da-da. You're a Marine. That's so impressive. I'm like,
Dance puppets dance.
yeah, I'm like,
Go on.
who the fuck are all these fair weather motherfuckers?
Did you even know them personally?
No. Like, yeah.
B minor.
Our mother's a piece of work.
So how's the drink policy work here? Do we have like a garçon or something?
That's
That's
me.
Krebs.
Yeah, that's what
I'm on.
I was waiting for that. Yes.
I'll be back. Usually we don't
Boy.
talk about it, and I slip in and out, and people don't even fucking realize.
No, I want them to understand what's happening, to see behind the microphone.
Then buy us cameras.
Video's a thing. We've done.
You got a phone?
I do. I got one of those things. So for real, you down for a cover band?
Yeah, I told you that already.
Sweet, let's do this. I'm gonna do this. So,
So I'm gonna sing and drum.
well, I got my buddy Alger can sing.
Okay, I'll do backup.
Yeah. No, you actually. I bet
No,
you guys,
I've done backup in every band I've been in.
I think you guys would harmonize great. Actually, it'll be perfect. This is gonna be awesome. I seriously can't wait. We're gonna do this. I already learned all the Tenacious D songs, well, at least from the first album. The one that just came out, Apocalypto, I am not a fan.
I am not incredibly familiar with that one yet.
It just came out. I bought it because I was like, all right, let's see what's going on. I mean, it was funny, but the whole time it's just a bash on Trump, and I'm like, God damn it! It's supposed to be funny, like low hanging fruit, guys. You guys are better than this. You don't have to fucking make it about that. Fuck, everyone and their mother's doing that. Like, God damn
I'm
it.
watching Colbert to get this. That's okay. Like
Like-
you would do something else.
Yeah, this is not your stick. Move the fuck on. God damn it. Because, I mean, the story they came up with is quite original, though. They're fighting the KKK, which is supposed to be a proxy for Trump, and there's a robot that comes back in time and saves them. It's supposed to be Terminator and Arnold, and, it's kind of funny, but it's like, But we talked about before, like, that first album, that it was amazing, but that was like an album that was in a time and it was in a place that was perfect, you know?
And you guys find it weird that I find criticism there. Really? Really?
You don't always have to fuck her hard. In fact, sometimes that's not right to do. Sometimes you've got to make some love and fucking give her some smooches too. Sometimes you've got to squeeze.
The harmonizing is freaking me the fuck out.
Sometimes you've got to say please.
We're not done.
Sometimes you've got to say, hey, I'm gonna fuck you softly. I'm gonna screw you gently. I'm gonna hump you sweetly.
You're welcome, Alger.
I'm gonna ball you discreetly.
You're
Yeah.
welcome, Alger. There you go.
What's up? What's up? You're welcome, Krebs.
Oh, that wasn't for me.
That actually was.
That was actually directly for you.
No, it wasn't. That was for you guys who fuck with me, so you enjoy it. No, that was not
Cheers,
about.
Tim.
That's not about me.
So if you guys want to check it out, we're going to be getting this cover band together, and you guys can come check us out. We'll definitely plug it and let you know when we're playing.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
I mean, that would play so well in any bar.
Yeah, any bar.
Any bar.
Because everyone is cool who likes it, you know?
Yeah, cool people.
Yeah, cool people. Lots of cool people.
Not boys who go get fucking beer.
So, tell us how much you like my Trumpy bear.
And the picture above it.
It will haunt my nightmares.
Really? I think it's hilarious. I love it.
So you're not gonna go home with it? You know, it's not actually Trump, right? It's just a bear.
Yeah, it's a teddy bear. He's actually really soft.
It can't hurt you unless you let it.
It scares me.
So, okay, so we were talking earlier about your Mueller shirts you want to get.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would like Mueller's face as if it's on a dollar bill and with the motto "In Mueller We Trust" underneath. I think that would be nice.
So what are your predictions on indictments?
Well,
All of them.
All of them?
all of the indictments. I mean, there are 17 separate discrete investigation into Trump and his associated organizations, including the Trump organization, like his actual business, the Trump Foundation, which just got shut down by New York because basically he was using it as a private piggy bank to pay legal debts tax-free, into the Trump campaign, the Trump transition team, the Trump inauguration team, and like every member of his cabinet. You have Michael Flynn. You have...
But he was dirty from the fucking get-go.
Yeah, he was dirty before Trump.
Honestly,
Even Obama
well,
said,
dude,
don't bring him in.
so much about Michael Flynn is really fucking weird. How he was a Democrat, then he went on this weird trip to Russia, came back, or no, he was a Republican, or he was a Democrat, went to Russia, came back, switched parties, and joined Trump's campaign.
Yeah.
That's really fucking weird.
I think there's shade all over that.
That's the thing. We have very little evidence as far as the collusion, conspiracy against the United States to defraud kind of concepts. Like, we have very little information at this point.
Yeah.
But what we've seen is very damning. Like, he wanted Trump Tower Moscow built. It was going to be funded by a Russian bank.
Yeah,
But that was illegal under the Magnitsky Act sanctions that we had against Russia.
But that might have started before he actually got elected. So he's a normal businessman doing normal business things. Why is that weird that he wants to build something anywhere?
Nothing. He didn't think he was going to get elected.
No, he didn't.
He
No,
was,
he didn't.
He was working with Russia.
Absolutely. We've talked about this, how he did not plan to win. He thought for sure Hillary was going to win. Did you watch his acceptance speech?
No, that's why
'Cause
he
I
was
watched
doing
it,
this
and
Trump Tower Moscow deal. He was like, yeah, sure, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, you give me this deal, I'll push for lowered sanctions. He didn't expect to win. He thought that after the election he was going to use it as a PR campaign just like he did the last time he ran. And it made him a bunch of fucking money.
So you want to punish people, punish him because people voted for him? It's not his fault they voted for him.
Oh, no. See, the thing is, Russia was like, okay, we're going to get this fucker elected.
Well, okay, but
you know,
but
the day he
Russia-
canceled
Russia-
all the plans for Trump Tower, the day he canceled was the day it became public that Russia had hacked the DNC emails. That was the day Michael Cohen canceled his plans for a trip to Russia to talk to them again. That's when all of it was like, oh, this shit just got public.
Russia didn't get him elected, though.
I mean, they ran a coordinated campaign that played.
they also
we
did the
allowed
same-
them to let him get elected.
They also-
No, he didn't. They didn't swing the election.
They spent just
the people that voted for Trump were voting for Trump regardless of Russia's involvement, and Russia pushed also for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, they
too.
spent just as much money on
I
Bernie.
mean, they ran massive.
They didn't-
media
they didn't-
campaigns.
They weren't
But
trying to get.
playing off of like the
But
worst
not
of
only-
our instincts, like hitting every demographic, both sides.
But they didn't swing the election. The people that voted for Trump were going to vote for Trump anyway.
They just
because of
didn't.
what they thought he
they
stood
really
for.
didn't want Hillary. That's what they were comparing
they
against.
were really voting against Hillary. They weren't voting for Trump. The last election wasn't a referendum on Trump. It was a referendum on Hillary. And
Which is what he made it.
yeah, but and
I
realistically,
mean, he personally ran a coordinated smear campaign against her, like that.
Yeah.
That
Well,
crooked Hillary.
well, she is a goddamn piece of crap. I hate that bitch. But
I want to say I can't say she's a bad person because she's not a person.
C flat. But I can't argue that she's not a person. I think she's a robot.
She's whatever her backers pay her to be.
Yes, exactly.
When did she come out for gay marriage? 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Waste of space. I can't stand her. But that's why the election. I'm fairly certain that's why Trump won the last election. And I can't believe
he was up
did.
against the only person he could beat.
Yeah, seriously.
Dude, he would not have beaten Bernie because Bernie was way more likable. Didn't have to grab them by the pussy tape.
No, he would have lost to Bernie for sure.
No call?
Yeah. What?
No note call?
B.
All right, thank you. Yeah, no, and
you might be
that's
overdoing
where
it,
the
though.
Democratic Party really fucked up in the primaries last year. They basically they sabotaged Bernie's chances of being the nominee and pushed for Hillary. Like, he should have been the nominee, and he would have beat the shit out of Trump.
He would have.
He would have won, and
Yes.
the Democratic leadership didn't want that because he was.
Because he wasn't what the base was.
No.
Or not what the
No,
base
no,
was.
no,
He
no.
wasn't
He wasn't what the party
nothing,
was.
It
Yeah.
had nothing to do with him. They wanted Hillary. They were going to make sure Hillary goes through at all costs. It didn't matter who she was running against. She was going to win. That was crowned day one.
Yeah, because they got their they just because of all that shenanigans, they redid their nomination election policies or whatever.
I don't buy it though.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, there's a
Well, in the
problem
same-
that
in
I
the
have
s-
seen in politics, in the discussion of politics, and specifically in people's assessment of politics, and that is the tendency to trend towards cynicism as opposed to skepticism. We should be skeptical of every action taken by a person with power in government. We should question it and we should think about it, but we should not slide into the trap of being cynical, of being it's all rigged, they're all just shady. It's so much more complex than that.
I agree.
And when I it's frustrating sometimes in a conversation when I'm discussing a specific point that maybe is an issue we as a country need to address. This is a problem in our current system that we can do better at. And they're like, oh, well, it's all the same on both parties. They're all shady. Oh, you're so fucking lazy. Pay attention, listen, assess for yourself. And you can't just listen to one news source either. I watched Fox and Friends yesterday. I do it regularly because it's where the fucking president gets his news. It's important to understand where his information is coming from so we can then understand how he's going to react to things.
Even if they're the enemy, don't you want to hear the enemy out?
And that's the thing. One of the biggest problems with the news media on both sides are guilty of this. It is a tendency, again, towards excitement. It is towards drama because drama sells papers, it gets viewers. So even if this is not really that big a deal, whatever this tiny thing they're talking about is, to make it seem like, oh, a gotcha moment or a thing, like both sides are guilty of this.
Absolutely.
That said, Fox blatantly lies about massive, like it is a
Both
they're not-
sides do.
not to the
But Fox-
same. Again, it is a matter of degree, and I've heard multiple people make this position that Fox, CNN, they're just opposite sides of the coin.
Absolutely.
That's
No.
that's absolutely inaccurate.
Well, they
It-
almost
it
are
is-
only
to make that assessment- hang on.
Fox will blatantly lie. CNN just won't report things. They just omit versus lying about it to twist a story. They'll twist the story to the ultimate degree, and the end result is the same. They just go about it differently, which is basically the same evil.
Everyone, when presenting information, is guilty of some degree of obfuscation. Like when you make a resume, for example, Like, you're not going to lie on it, but you're going to cast yourself in the most positive light. Everybody's guilty of that. But, like, Fox quote-unquote news...
It's not news. Well, okay.
It doesn't exist in
courts
Canada.
ruled they're not news.
Yeah,
Well,
they cannot broadcast in Canada as
Yes.
Fox News, because if you're calling yourself a news program in Canada, you cannot present information that is verifiably false.
So people don't know this about Fox News.
Nobody
So-
here is going to defend Fox News. Just
No.
saying that off the bat.
So Fox, so like Hannity and those other Fox News shows, those aren't the actual news. Those are classified as entertainment shows, and they have an
It's
actual
editorial.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
assessment.
They have
Their
an
personal opinion.
They have an actual news show that nobody watches, and their editorials comment on what Fox, the actual news show, says, and the news shows report what the editorial shows talked about.
Meanwhile, Trump
Like-
is watching them,
Yeah,
making a press conference about the same topic so then they can report on it, and it's just this cycle of circle jerking.
Yes, no, I am aware. That's why I don't watch Fox. Like,
Side note, did you like the bogus, like, publicity stunt press briefing he tried to hold on Friday? Or was it, no, on Thursday, because Nancy Pelosi was making all the headlines because she's being appointed speaker. They're pushing through a clean resolution to restart the government. And Trump was so butthurt that he wasn't the headline for the day, that he held his first press briefing in the White House press briefing room, has never stood at that podium in the 2 years he's been in office, stood up there, talked about how we needed a wall with 4 completely bald white men standing behind him, representatives from the Border Patrol Union, which I think was a calculated choice by him to piss off quote-unquote snowflakes, to make them, it's neo-Nazis. Either that, or he just really wanted people with no hair next to him, so it makes his hair look better. That's the other angle I think on it. He might just be that neurotic. But he didn't take a single question and walked away as soon as he finished his statement. That is not a press briefing. That is not the way press briefings are held. That is
what Trump would do.
That is a photo op.
So you can't
That is
be.
a photo
So you
op.
can't be surprised when Trump does what Trump does.
Yeah.
No, his whole intent was just report on me. Fuck Nancy Pelosi, because
God.
she's getting positive headlines.
I wouldn't fuck with your dick. I'm sorry.
I hate Nancy Pelosi too.
I'm so sad that they like
I can't believe
appointed her.
What do you hate about
speaker.
Nancy Pelosi specifically? Just so I want to understand.
What do I hate about her specifically?
She's a dinosaur. She's of the past.
She's a dinosaur. She's of the past, and she's. This is my problem. This is my problem with everybody that's currently in government. We are $21 trillion in fucking debt, and nobody will take the step and say, "All right, we either have to raise the taxes to 80% or stop spending fucking money," because at the end of 2019, we get balloon payments on our interest on that debt that we are currently paying, and we're going to wind up spending more on the interest payments than we do on the military currently. Spend on the military because, and I've had this discussion on Facebook. We talked about it earlier. There's a difference between mandatory spending and discretionary spending. Mandatory spending is not what is what they can. It's like social programs and stuff. It's not based on a bill every year. It's based on the number of eligible recipients that receive those benefits.
Right.
And then discretionary spending is the other things that require a budget. That's why we have a government shutdown, because the budget hasn't been decided on. So things like the military and everything else get shut down. They're not shut down. They're just working for free. But when not working for free, they're going to get back pay and shit. But
Yeah, we don't pass
But-
balanced budgets anymore. We
Yeah,
pass
we can't do it.
resolutions to keep the government open until
Yeah.
somebody decides they want to have a fight that they're willing to jeopardize hundreds of thousands of people's financial security over.
but they're not hurting anybody's financial security.
That's
all those,
absolutely inaccurate.
all those people are going to get back pay. Two,
Absolutely inaccurate. Government contractors do not get back pay of any kind. They just don't get work in the meantime, and they don't get paid. Period.
but they're not. But who's paying them?
The government.
Yeah, and where's the government getting the money from? Oh, that's right. They're not. They're just making money out of nothing. Those non-essential employees shouldn't be there anyway. Like, we're at a point right now where we are so in debt. We need to stop spending fucking money.
So cut off your nose to save your face?
No, yeah, because the implosion is going to be, guess what? It's going to be our arms, face, head, back, ass, legs. We're going to be a goddamn invalid. Because we are so fucking in debt and nobody gets it.
I take issue with your assessment that government contractors who have been paid to do certain jobs that are necessary for government, whatever they happen to be, they just shouldn't be there. Because they're quote-unquote not essential.
For now, yeah, because we don't have the fucking money to pay them. When we could go back to a balanced budget.
Budgetary concerns are your primary
Yeah.
function here, not paying government contractors is like the stupidest thing to try and cut money from. Like,
we shouldn't be spending money on anything. We shouldn't be spending money on
that's
anything.
an oversimplification.
No, it's not. Because first off, in order the government
so we
can't
stop
produce
spending money on absolutely
because
everything.
the government can't produce money, right? They don't produce anything. In order for them to give money out, they have to take it from somebody else, which violates the sovereignty of the individual and destroys freedom. Freedom is ultimately the most paramount thing we have. It's all about freedom. If we don't have freedom, then why the fuck are we here? That's my first complaint with it. And the second is, we have a completely unsustainable model, and we can't just keep spending money. We need to, it doesn't work. We need to stop right now.
And one of the biggest ways we can reduce, as you said earlier before this podcast started, as our primary sources of loss of money is Medicaid, Medicare, and all of the government expenses towards healthcare. We should be doing a single-payer healthcare system. That's the only thing that makes sense. All right, so my company, I work for an internet service provider that just recently started offering their own cable product. So to do that, we had to make agreements with every single individual network out there, HBO, Showtime.
Yes.
The thing is, as a small network, as a small provider, we have no argument, no clout in those negotiations because we only represent, 40,000, 60,000 users. So what we do is we go join a group of other ISPs, other small providers, and we do a single payer negotiation. So we can all get a lower price because we're purchasing in bulk. Now, that same concept applies to healthcare for the government. We would pay less for single payer healthcare once the system has been implemented than we currently pay. Other countries, other major industrialized nations do that right now, and there's no reason we can't.
We can pay even less than that if we did an open market versus... Because what you're talking about is insurance.
I'm not talking about...
Get rid of insurance completely. Gone. It's a service.
Now,
just like if you got a lawnman or a plumber.
So here's
or
where we
any
come
other
to the
service.
crux of the issue. It's easy to prescribe that this is the solution to the system. Going from point A to point B, where that solution is, that's not the clear part. That's the part that is, how do you eliminate the entire insurance industry overnight and not have anything for those people?
Trump has the balls to do it.
That'd be the motherfucker. No. My point is that you can't do that. There has to be some kind of solution. The same thing with the coal industry as we shift towards renewable resources. You can't just say, fuck this industry, it doesn't need to be here. Well, yeah, fuck that industry, it doesn't need to be there. But the people who are a part of that, we need to have some kind of option available for them, some kind of solution that they can turn to as the government
But these solutions put us $21 trillion in debt.
That's an arbitrary linkage.
Well, no, because what's the government's number one expenditure?
Military.
No.
No?
No. It's its number one discretionary expenditure, but mandatory spending outweighs all of that. It's all like the SNAP, Medicare, Medicaid, all the welfare, all that is the number one government expenditure. And
that's what I'm saying. We could pay vastly less if we did a single payer for that. Now, some of the other critiques against that is that currently our healthcare system doesn't have enough doctors to provide for that system, that we would then see higher wait times because under that system, suddenly everybody who currently doesn't have access to healthcare and is putting off visiting the doctor because they don't have the money to, will suddenly have access to doctors. But that means as we make that transition, you're going to see longer wait times at the doctor because everybody is now using
will
that system.
become Canada?
No.
Because they have that now.
They really don't. They really don't.
But this is what you and this. Okay, so the
this
realistic
ties into
limitation.
another thing.
The realistic limitation is why that won't work. Why we won't go to single payer, is because all the drug companies and all the medical all the equipment manufacturers for medical equipment, all the rest of the industrialized world has caps on what they're allowed to charge. Right? Those companies can't make a profit margin. We, as a nation right now, are literally subsidizing the rest of the industrialized world's medicine.
And that's not sustainable.
No, it's not. Absolutely not. And it's fucking us. But that's why we won't go to a single payer, because then who's going to subsidize those companies? Those companies will never allow that to happen. They're going to lobby and go against it. That's why I say we just fuck them all, go open free market, and let capitalism do its thing. Bring us the best product for the cheapest price.
And I think through measurable, testable, verifiable, it's been done before means, we can say that the best price for the best service is single payer for the most people. Because you're talking about freedom. I am one medical incident away from bankruptcy. One fucking medical incident away from not being able to make by. And that is the vast majority of the fucking country. That isn't freedom. If you are bound to your job by your medical insurance because you can't afford to not be at that job and not have medical insurance to go to something you want to do more, or to start your own business because you can't afford to pay for the medical insurance through whatever your other options are. Like, that limits your freedom.
Absolutely it does.
And as a country, we need to establish what we want as our priorities so we can budget. Just like a family, we have certain things we need to do. We need to establish and have the conversation that we haven't been having for decades in Congress about what our priorities are, what we want to spend on, and then budget. Actually establish, we only have X amount of money. We're going to spend X because we took in X taxes. We're going to spend X on this, this, and this. Oh, we have a leftover over that. Let's start a rainy day fund. Like, yes, we're talking about billions and trillions of dollars as opposed to tens of thousands of dollars for or thousands of dollars for a family budget, but it's the same kind of concepts, and I don't know why those concepts are not discussed at that level, because it's the same level of responsibility necessary.
I understand, but the difference being you want to trade insurance for insurance. I say get rid of insurance altogether.
Single payer eliminates insurance. It's just the doctors getting paid.
So you make it, yeah, but there's a third party involved. You take the third party out and negotiate directly with the doctor. And this is proven to work.
Eliminates the benefit of group negotiating power.
It's already started in places like Texas and Arizona. They charge like $15, $20 a month. And it's really beneficial, especially for people that have autoimmune diseases and things like diabetes and pre-existing conditions. These people go to the doctor an unlimited amount of times. They can go and get their prescription. They pay $15 a month and they go unlimited. I think a system like that is much, much better than having any kind of insurance. Because, yeah, single payer, okay, they're not called insurance companies.
Insurance at all. I think
yes,
but
it's still single payer, and you still have a third party's hand involved.
Single payer doesn't involve insurance. There is no insurance. We're not paying to a security fund to pay for this. This is just straight up. We get a better price if we purchase in bulk.
But there's a third party involved, which means
your street drug dealer can tell you this. When you buy in bulk, you're going to get a better price.
Yes, but anytime you put a third hand, you're going to pay more. So
what are you selling anyway?
Your mom?
But yeah, we could eliminate to get the third hand out, and then you don't pay as much. Because now that third hand doesn't have to make a profit.
The government's not profiting off of that.
They're going to. And then
how?
What do you mean how?
It's straight tax dollars going straight to the doctor.
Because that was... Okay,
it's part of that non-discretionary spending.
So Social Security...
But it would be less than we're paying now.
Yes,
it would be less than we're paying now. Drastically less, and we would provide health care
but we could get the lowest cost.
Vast majority of people in the country.
We could get the lowest cost if we just went direct negotiations with a doctor, make it an open market, just like every other service in the country.
That would not necessarily result in the most positive outcome for people. Like when we talk about government policies, so much of what is the discussion is idealistic on both sides. And I was watching. Hang on, let me finish. This is an important. Hang on, this is an important point. I want to finish the whole thing.
Okay, go ahead.
So, watching Cosmos, the Neil deGrasse Tyson, new reboot.
Yeah.
There's this one scene where he's talking about a change that happened in science, where we came to the realization that you can't just sit in a room, think about science, say that makes sense, and assume that it's right. For over 1,000 years, our common scientific understanding was that a big rock will drop faster than a little rock because it's heavier. That is patently false if you test it. It took almost 1,000 years before we dropped rocks off the Leaning Tower of Pisa and went, oh shit, they drop at the same speed because it has to do with acceleration. Now, the bigger rock's going to have more force when it hits because it has larger mass, but they're going to go at the same speed. We haven't had that realization that you have to test and measure things to make decisions in government yet. We still just sit there in the halls of Congress as people grandstand and say, this thing. We need scientific, tested data to verify things. We need to measure these things. And so much of these arguments are going without measurement, both in the discussions in government and in the media's assessment of them. They just say, person A said X. Person B said Y.
Okay, so this is the example I give you. How many people have been, like, our standard of living as a country
Pretty good.
is massively larger than the rest of the world.
We are all in the 1%.
We are all
of the world.
Even our poor people are in the 1% of the world.
For the first time in the past 100 years, in 2016, life expectancy for U.S. citizens went down.
Yes, it did.
So yes,
people are fat and make poor decisions.
Hashtag first world problems. I know we have it pretty good here,
Because
but
we eat fucking sugar and we don't fix.
and
we
we
don't have-
subsidize things like high fructose corn syrup from the
Exactly.
government to grow corn that we
Hey,
don't need, that nobody
are you-
wants to fucking buy.
Are you talking shit about our GMF Alger?
Don't talk about farmers, bro.
Yeah. Especially corn farmers.
Well, hey,
motherfucker
hey,
over
hey,
here has free
now,
corn.
Hey, wait. Thanks to President Donald Trump. Here, I'm gonna toot Trump's horn for a moment. He signed the Farm Bill last month. He has legalized
get on your
hemp
knees.
on
First,
the
get on your
national level
knees.
for the first time since it was made illegal. This is a huge step. I applaud him for this one thing he did right. A broken clock is right even twice a day.
So my point is this:
If you're gonna toot his horn, get on your knees first. That's how Hillary.
There was a
Hillary
porn
did
star
it.
in the way. I'm sorry. I can't believe, by the way, that there's a president who fucks porn stars and wants a space army, and I don't like him. Like, this is such a bizarre fucking world, because how do I not like that president?
I find it fucked up that you didn't know the Space Force was a thing when
before. Yeah. When I was in the
in
Marines, they were talking about it.
I was in the Air Force under
It's
Bush, and we
Space
talked about it.
Like,
no, they were talking about making it a branch of the military when I was in.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the
Space
same way
Force-
the Air Force branched off originally. It's the
Yeah.
same. It's
And
a
that's not a bad
logical
thing.
outgrowth. As once again, if you like Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Yeah.
he has spoken on this subject
On
specifically.
Joe Rogan's podcast.
Just
Yeah.
because
Talked about
Trump
it, yeah.
said it doesn't mean it's necessarily 100% wrong.
No, we've talked about it on our podcast.
He might
how
say
it's
it
not-
like a fucking idiot and with the grace of a fucking hippo, but
hippos are graceful, bro. I just watch cartoons.
yeah.
I've seen Madagascar.
Side note: have you guys
I'm
heard
not
about the
joining you on that
hippo
one.
problem in South America? Have you heard
Hold
about
on.
this?
But anyway, so capitalism has brought the most amount of people out of poverty in the shortest amount of time in human history. That is a scientific, measurable fact.
That doesn't mean it's perfect or not open
Oh no, I'm
to
not saying
interpretation.
I'm
or-
not
or
saying it,
improve-
I'm not saying it's perfect, but what I'm saying is that the most amount of people will benefit from it. And in any time that the government comes in and collects taxes, what it means is that I lose freedom. It means that I have to work for free or go to jail. It means someone's going to come stick a gun in my face and take my shit from me. When you're supposed to have ownership, you're supposed to be able to own something.
Well, the problem here
that is
comes from in
and
a
that is-
society we have different priorities, and the things that we agree to spend money on as a group, as a country, will vary drastically. And some of the things some people want to spend money on are different than others. So your real argument here is that you disagree with what some of that money is being spent on, because some of those services you absolutely use, you get, and
Oh,
you take
yeah.
advantage of.
Absolutely, but no. My real
the problem
disagreement
is what they're spending the money on.
No, my real disagreement is that I work overtime to make extra money for me and my family, not for the government to come take it. And if it comes down to where I have to have a trash bill, right, from a private company, I'm okay. I'll take that bill. I'd rather have that than have the government come and take it from me, because no one should be forced to do anything.
A minor.
Yeah. And it's not about what they're spending money on that upsets me the most. It upsets me the most is that I don't have a choice in whether or not I pay. So why am I buying things, and not just buying things, but I'm being forced to buy things or go to fucking jail? How fucking moral is that? How correct is that? That's kind of fucked up.
So what is
And,
the
and I
solution you
understand-
propose? Okay,
And
your
this-
problem is that taxes are wrong, immoral, and reduce freedom.
Absolutely.
What
Absolutely.
solution do you propose for government to function as opposed to taxes?
This is what we do. What is government's role? What is the federal government's job?
I was waiting for your
No,
assessment.
I was asking. What do you think the federal government's job is? What is their responsibility?
Well, if you want to go constitutionally, it's
it
any
is.
of the states that are any of the roles that are not specifically delegated in the Constitution to the federal government are delegated to the states. So
Yes.
it's very specific roles that they are slated to have within the Constitution. The
Yes.
argument then becomes, what role do we think today government needs to play and why?
The only thing they need to do is protect people and property from threats, foreign and domestic. So that means first responders, military, police, and that's
But
it.
threats is a very vague term.
Yeah, the
When it was-
caravan's a threat. We need a wall.
See? There you go. You're on. Win. See? You're on Team Trump now. How's it feel?
Wait, I could just say whatever the fuck I want with no consequences? Let's do this.
Your dick got bigger and you got whiter.
But now I can say stuff about grabbing women by the pussy.
You can say which amendment is that? Something about free speech?
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want.
No, my point is,
no, with no consequences. That's the addendum.
No
there.
federal consequences.
my point is this: we don't need any of the taxes that we are currently paying to function. We did it for a couple hundred years before we had all these massive taxes. Just fine.
Where's your phone, Matt?
Because so the federal government's majority of income comes from selling dollar bills. We sell it as a product now.
And we make it rain.
Yes, we do. And we borrow money.
Irresponsibly.
We borrow money to sell money. It's absolutely insane. Which is why we have to be militant across the world, which I completely disagree with. There's a lot of things I would do differently. Like, one, I would pull out of every country, bring every troop home, and I would put up a big banner and say, "Fuck with us, we annihilate you." End of story.
You're really good at pulling out. No kids yet.
What are your thoughts on NATO, the alliances that we've held since World War II to help prevent those kind of aggressive countries from?
Yes.
You ready? You ready?
To fight Russia.
Okay, so this is my thought. We have those alliances after World War II. You know why we have them?
Enlighten me.
Because they were specifically tied to the petrodollar. Because after World War II is when we developed the petrodollar. That was when it came into play. And that's why we developed those the UN and those the parties involved in all that. Because we were specifically doing to strategically.
Arm, we have UN, and then we have NATO for the military arm.
Yes, and we specifically set those up because we were setting up the petrodollar. And that's what brought us out of the Depression. And that's how we became an economic powerhouse, was because we had a physical standard for the dollar bill, and we had the petrodollar. Our currency was so valuable, we could do anything we fucking wanted. And then we eliminated the physical value and continued to push the petrodollar as our sole source of value on the dollar bill for our currency, which is not sustainable anymore. And that's why we did those things. I'm a firm believer in walk softly but carry a big stick, but that requires a lot of follow through on the backside. If we decide to do that, we have to actually, the first country that fucks with us, we have to just level them and not even fucking think twice about it.
Yeah, totally. My main criticism with your position is that it assumes that we are not in any way connected to the rest of the world. It assumes that actions taken in the rest of the world do not affect us, and that, I feel, is inaccurate. And to simply withdraw blanket statement from any possible interaction with any other nation like that is, I feel, heavy-handed and lacks the complexity of viewpoint necessary for the scale of problems we face on the global scale. Like, we have problems that we face as a planet that we have to address, and that requires coordination with close allies who are our friends both economically and militarily. I feel like so many things Trump has done since he got into office have been to systematically dismantle both those systems internationally and locally within the U.S., the systems of checks and balances on the office of the presidency, both attacking the free press, consistently calling them the enemy of the people. I don't know if you've ever heard the clip of Nixon.
But how much has he actually...
The clip of Nixon.
I haven't talked in like 20 minutes, so...
It's Nixon saying repeatedly, the press is the enemy of the people. The press is the enemy of the people.
You can say
the press
what you
is
want.
the enemy of the people.
You can say
Write
what you
that
want.
on the blackboard 100 times. He's talking to his attorney general at the time.
Yeah, and he can say that. He's allowed to say that. How much did he actually
that's what
restrict?
Someone who rejects the system of checks and balances in place for our governance.
No, he's just bitching about it.
I think the press has become the enemy of the people, not because Trump said so, but like we talked about earlier, CNN omits everything. Fox straight up lies and reports on themselves. These major news outlets are full of shit.
So can you give me an example of what you mean by the CNN omission? I'm trying to see an example of what you're
Really?
referring to.
Really?
When he went to Japan.
Yeah. Okay, CNN, this is my theory on CNN. Trump can't swim. So if Trump were to go on a boat with a cowboy, right? Mm-hmm. Gust of wind comes off, blows the cowboy's hat off. Trump would get on the water, walk on water, pick up the hat, come back to the boat, hand it to the cowboy, bone dry. The next day's headline would read, Trump can't swim.
And that's
how CNN reports things.
Again, you're making a straw man argument. I'm asking for a specific example.
That's why I said Japan. There was, I think it was a year ago. He went to Japan. They were feeding koi fish, and Trump walks up and just dumps this box of like fish food and walks away. And they said Trump has no idea what he's doing. He just dumped this food haphazardly, didn't think about it.
No.
I'm not done talking.
I was agreeing with you. That's all.
Okay. What they cut out was the fact that he did exactly what the fucking Prime Minister of Japan did. He walked up and dumped fish food and walked away. That's it.
No.
But they fucking sequestered it and segued it, so it just looked like Trump was an idiot.
And this ties into what I was talking about earlier, which is that both sides on the media are guilty of gotchaism. They're going for this.
They want
this headline that's going to draw views. It's going to draw hits.
They want
which is why I think the press have become the enemy of the people.
But that again,
but
cynicism versus skepticism. Everybody, not all fucking journalists, not all news networks, not everybody involved is doing that every single time. And the assertion that it is
just the major news outlets.
just all the major news outlets.
There are no good news outlets right now. There
are none.
I know. I watch all
We're
of
the
them.
most honest news right now.
Democracy Now!, the War and Peace Report. How about that one? Yeah,
Actually,
I went far enough left that you guys don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore.
My favorite
it
is
sounds familiar. I can kind of hear you all the way over here. Yeah.
Well, so
But
Democracy Now! Is actually one of the stations that I have looked to since the Iraq War, about 2005 or so, when I was getting into college. I found out about them.
my favorite is Infowars.
Oh, you went there.
Mostly just because it's highly fucking entertaining.
I don't know how to respond to that.
All I'm saying,
There is no response to that.
all I'm saying is,
Okay,
they turn the fucking frogs gay, and they're interdimensional child molesters.
Okay,
God
Caesar
damn it.
Soyak.
They're turning the fucking frogs gay.
Yeah, Obama is, obviously.
Yeah, duh.
All right. I'm going to take a bathroom break.
Bathroom break.
Pause
All right,
it.
Pause.
We'll be back.
Everybody
And-
ready?
And we're back from a really long bathroom break that you
Was
guys missed.
I feel better.
Yes. So,
You have a pretty toilet.
thank you. The toilet
It's a
light.
light up toilet.
Yeah, it lights up.
It changes colors.
Oh, just wanted to mention, you don't have to do 23andMe. I saved you some money. I did it.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm interested to see the results.
I am too. I'm supposed to get them on January 7th.
We're like every flavor of white mixed together.
Yeah, we're super wasp. Pretty excited to see how that goes.
Well, like we're like what were originally considered the good white and all of the bad white too. Like the people who were like,
How many slaves did you have?
no,
None.
Like we got a lot of Irish in us. We were looked down on hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't make you bad.
No, we were just
yeah.
like the black of white people in America.
That's really insensitive, bro.
Not really. Like they were really like you were looked down. Fucking potato chuckers. Yeah, I think we could all agree that looking down on people is bad. Except for, Republicans. We can look down on Republicans.
Not
I
all.
guess.
Not all of them. I'm a big fan of fucking Rand Paul because he wants to decriminalize all drugs.
I am not a big fan of Rand Paul, which actually really surprises me with how much a fan
You liked
of Ron
Ron
Paul
Paul,
I am.
yeah.
I have this.
Like every single time I've heard Rand Paul say anything on any topic, I've been like, man, you're fucked up. Every time.
Don't listen to him.
Well,
Read his policies. Don't listen to him.
You know what though? Okay, I'll say this. He's like, he has a little bit of Ron Paul in him, and he comes forward with some really good ideas, but he carries the worst parts of the Republican Party with him.
He's trying to stay in the party.
He tries
Yeah,
to claim libertarianism, but then
He does Republican
toes
things.
the
Yeah.
Republican Party line, and it's just like, fuck you, dude. You. The thing I respect about libertarians is that they have a logical justification for all of the positions they hold. Like whether or not they really believe the justification, or whether they're just using it as an excuse to promote their own form of capitalism or whatever. Like at least there's a logical, measurable method, and they're always going to adhere to it. But he doesn't follow that. He doesn't follow libertarian ideals, and then tries to be libertarian.
He leans libertarian. It's whatever.
He's libertarian curious.
Yeah. he's bi-party.
this one time in college.
This one time in college. Yeah.
He thought we should decriminalize all drugs.
And then he came, and then he came and woke up and changed his mind.
And all the libertarians were like, I love this guy. Like,
Hey, Portugal did it.
I know.
Yeah, very successfully, focused on harm reduction, reducing the ridiculous intravenous drug use and HIV/AIDS problems they were having at the time. Yeah, let's focus on measurable results that we can see that have been tried in the past that we can implement here.
And they dropped their drug-related crimes by 50%. 50%, like, immediately.
Yeah.
Because suddenly, if drugs aren't so bad, you don't
Nobody cares.
rob your neighbor anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like basically
Unless
the
he's a
setup they
dick and
have
deserves it.
is it's still illegal to sell most forms of drugs. However, it is not illegal to possess them as an individual citizen. If you are caught by police carrying heroin, for example, you don't go to jail. You have to go to this panel made up of health professionals, psychologists, and a few police representatives, and they talk to you about why you're doing drugs, what problems you might have in your life, and if you need help with anything. Harm reduction.
So, are we going to do like a podcast like road trip and not really road trip? Like just
And go
fly?
do heroin?
No.
I really don't want to do heroin.
No.
Yeah, I'm down for the band. I don't know about the heroin trip. That doesn't sound me.
No. I've got you both. I've done it. It really isn't that fun. You're just kind of sleepy, and then you're kind of annoyed afterwards.
I mean, I took ecstasy back in the day. I've definitely ingested heroin at some point because that's something they used to cut ecstasy with. Heroin.
That's fucked up because those are counterintuitive. There we go.
Yes. Yeah, you would think. Some people like to have some fun, apparently.
That's why I used to drink.
That's why, kids, it's important you buy a test kit if you're going to do things that are illegal, like take ecstasy. Protect yourself.
Is there some test kit that you would like to plug right now?
dancesafe.org has test kits available that you are able to purchase online and order and verify if there's any crazy drugs in what you thought was ecstasy. I mean, that's an important harm reduction tool. Dance Safe goes to events and festivals with representatives with test kits, and they like test live, like give me a pill and I'll test it right now and tell you if that's ecstasy or not.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they're like, oh no, there's obviously amphetamine in this. Like it just changes different colors so they can look at it and tell you, oh, that maybe there's ecstasy in that, but there's also this and this for sure. Like things like DXM and all kinds of crazy shit.
Hey, man. Don't hate.
I'm gonna hate. Like, I am not anti-drug because like that's a silly position for me, but I am very much anti-usage of drugs without understanding what you're taking, what the dosage is, or what the effects could be. Like that's irresponsible to just take shit.
I'm all about legalizing everything. I don't give a fuck.
This is America. The Controlled Substances Act is unconstitutional. I think that the justification the Supreme Court gave through the Interstate Commerce Clause is absurd.
Absolutely.
And a mental gymnastic that is inexcusable.
I completely agree.
We have the right, as speaking of the rights of the federal government we were referring to earlier, the federal government has the right to regulate interstate commerce, and through that, they justified that they have the right to ban possession of drugs. Thank you, Nixon.
Yeah, that was kind of his deal. Yeah.
Yeah, so that brings me to another point that I wanted to bring up, like, Trump aside and all that. If we have evidence that, say, for instance, a president got into office through nefarious means, committed crimes in order to gain the presidency, I feel there should be some kind of clause or addendum to undo actions that they took while in that office if it is proven that they got it through fraud, basically.
Ill-gotten means.
Yeah, like, yes, this applies, but like the same thing for, like, we're still dealing with things that Nixon pushed through, like the Controlled Substances Act.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like if you break the rules to get into the office in the first place, anything you did is now subject to question and should be up for a revote at least. Like, he did this was passed, do we still want this? I feel like that is a reasonable thing if someone is proven to have gotten the office of the presidency through fraud.
I like
Trump
that.
aside.
I like that. That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah.
But I want a clause in there to make it so that if Trump gets the wall, that's excluded.
What are they going to do? Tear it down after they build it? All right, so this has been fun.
All I'm saying is we need to build just restore the Rio Grande.
Yeah, we need a moat, not a wall.
Yeah, just restore the Rio Grande. Way cheaper.
Trump would like you.
Way cheaper. Just saying, way cheaper, and better for the environment.
All right, so I am sorry to cut it short, but I do have some responsibilities I need to attend to at this time.
And we need a picture.
Here, you gotta take a picture, sign the desk, and final thoughts.
Penis.
Which, yeah.
Penis.